See, you want to be an activist, but you don't want to think like that. You don't want to deal with all of that. Brother, a lot of our people would be shocked to know who the real enemies are among us as a people.
Willie D. Live.
They often call them gatekeepers. But gatekeepers are only effective if you're going to that gate to eat. Gatekeepers have never controlled Quanell X. They've never made me not do something or do something. And those gatekeepers look like us. But unless you're going to that gate to eat, then they have tremendous influence over you. And most of the gatekeepers are bought and paid for by the very enemies black people have been fighting to get free from. And so most of our quote-unquote activists, political leaders, they become compromised. Why? Because they need employment. Because financially they can't survive. And the enemies of our people know this. And so they rob you of your revenue stream. And then what happens is you have to go to a gatekeeper for employment.
Isn't that the same thing that happens with those who subjugate the ones who block people like you, people like me, black people, period? Isn't that the same thing what they do on a power side? They need employment. Even though they know certain things that they do is dirty and low down and shameful, they do it anyway because they need to get to that money. You can even go all the way back to slavery and say they did that because they was trying to get to the money. So it ain't a whole lot of difference.
I was on CNN one evening with Don Lemon, and he and I both were in the dressing room, and I thanked the brother for graciously inviting me to his show. And we were talking, and I said to Brother Don Lemon, I said, brother, you're a very intelligent brother. I said, but there's a significant difference between you and I. I said, brother, I'm free. I say, you're not free. I said, because the very people that want to keep their thumb on the rise of black people sign your check every day. Their signature's not on mine. I said, I'm free. I said, they can't threaten to take a platform from me because God gave me my platform and I can open and close on any corner. I said, brother, that's the difference between you and I. And it's not just good brothers like him because he proved it. Well, they proved it to him. The minute he said something that they didn't like, then they took his platform from him. Then Elon Musk manipulated the brother and then made him look foolish to the world because the brother wanted respect in his contractual negotiations with Elon Musk. That's the problem, Brother Will. Our people are not free who look free to us. Our politicians are some of the most handcuffed men and women that you will ever meet. Some of them truly mean well. But when you look at their campaign contribution rolls, 99% of the money comes from outside of the community. And so if you are trying to be a politician and you know that political donations and contributions is the mother's milk to a cow, well, then you got to seek that money because it takes money to win. Well, if you're taking that money from outside of the constituency that you represent, he that pays the piper picks the tune. They've never been able to do that with me. That's why you've never seen me run for Congress. You've never seen me run for state rep, city council, none of that. If it's based on a popularity contest, I believe I would do very well. But I know better because then you got to be a political whore. I'm being real right now, brother, because you got to say to every constituency that you are seeking a vote from, you got to tell them what they want to hear. You got to say to them what makes them feel good. And you got to sell your masculinity down the damn drain to seek a vote from them. And I've never done that. And that's why I will never run for a political office because I believe in what God says. You love the sinner, but you hate the sin. You can't send me to the transgender community and I put on a dress to make them feel comfortable so you would give me your vote. You can't send me to a constituency that says young boys and young girls should compete in the same sports, and yet this is our political pack, and we want boys and girls, no matter what they identify with, in wrestling matches together, and then I support that because I need their political endorsement. I don't believe in none of that.